quick sort of 10 or so minute video, I'm going to go through a stretch routine that you can do at home. So the stretch routine is designed to open up the big ball and socket joints of the shoulders, open up the hips, and to mobilise the spine. So it's just something you can do gently at home whilst we're all a little bit contained from the coronavirus, to help to loosen you off and to help you to feel a little bit less stiff and more mobile. If you've got any health concerns or you've got any injuries, then obviously it's best to speak to a doctor first before trying something new. But if you've got experience with stretching, done yoga before, Pilates, etc., then you know your body and you'll be able to adapt, and this should help you to feel a little bit more flexible. Okay, so we are going to start on our hands and knees in our table position. So hopefully you've got a yoga mat or an exercise mat at home. If not, you can just place out a towel or use a rug instead. Okay, so we're going to bring ourselves onto our hands and knees. Okay, open up these fingers of the hands because we often forget to stretch these palms. So we're going to open up those fingers and really ground those hands down into the mat. Hands are shoulder distance apart and our knees are hip distance apart. And then from here, we're going to focus on that breathing, some nice long inward and outward breathing. So from here, as we breathe out, we're going to go into our angry cat stretch. You're going to draw that tailbone underneath you, draw that chin in towards the chest, and really arch that spine up towards the ceiling. Then on that inward breath, you're going to come through into that neutral position, which is otherwise known as table position. And then breathe out as you keep these arms straight, you keep these legs straight, but you're tucking this tailbone up towards the ceiling now, or lifting that tailbone up towards the ceiling, and relaxing the stomach towards the mat. Then breathe in as you come back to neutral, and as you breathe out, you're going to arch that spine again up towards the ceiling. Really tuck that chin in towards the chest. Good, then breathe in, come back to table position, and as you breathe out, widen those hips, lift that tailbone up. Good, arms are straight and head's looking slightly up. And then come back into that table position. And as you breathe out, you're going to stretch these arms forward and you're going to sink down into that child's pose. Good, so again, these hands are nice and open, so you're still stretching those palms as you sink down. You're tucking that chin in towards the chest. Then come through, back into that table position. And then from here, we're going to walk these hands back towards the knees and come up into that kneeling position. From here, we're going to come over into lateral flexion or a side bend. So you're going to reach this arm up towards the ceiling and over. But be mindful, you want to keep this chest upwards and this top arm slightly back in line with this ear. Then breathe in as you come back to that centre position, and then breathe out over to that other side. So you're kicking those hips over to one side, but this chest is staying up, an arm towards the ear, and just taking it over as far as that back feels comfortable today. Good, then breathe in back to centre position, and again breathe out over to that other side. So nice long outward breath as you reach over, and again keeping those hips outward slightly. Then breathe in back to centre position, and then breathe out over to that other side, and either looking forwards or up at this top hand depending on what feels comfortable. Then breathe in back to that centre position. Good, from here you're going to come back into that table position, and as you breathe out you're going to flick these toes up underneath you and strong outward breath as you sink back into those legs. Good, into our downward dog stretch. So it doesn't matter if these heels don't touch the floor, as long as you're lengthening through the back of those knees. Your hands or your fingers are open again, and you're lifting that body weight up and back. And you're squeezing that stomach towards the spine, lengthening through the back of the knees and stretching through the heels of these feet. Then breathe in back down into that table position. And as you breathe out, this time we're coming in to thread the needle. So take this left hand, stretch it through that right arm as you take that ear towards the mat and that shoulder towards the mat. Good, breathe in, come back to that centre position. Before we go on to that other side, we're going to come back into that downward dog stretch again. So lengthen through those legs as you sink down. Good, breathe in, come back to that centre position. Then as you breathe out this time, we're going to bring that right arm through that left arm. As you come in to thread the needle, again, ear towards the mat and that shoulder towards the mat. Good. Breathe in, come back to that centre position. And this time we're going to hold our downward dog for about 5 breaths, long breaths. So again, really press into those hands, lift that tailbone up, and really stretch back through the back of those knees. So you're tucking this chin slightly in towards the chest to help lengthen through the crown of the head. Taking a long and deep inward breath and a full and deep outward breath. Good, then when you're ready, you're going to breathe in, you're going to lower down onto these knees and you're going to relax those toes. And then from here, we're going to sink back. First of all, you're going to sink back and bring those heels, that bottom down, onto those heels as you lift up. So this is our first level here. If this feels comfortable and you don't have any discomfort at the front of these ankle joints, then from here we're going to take these legs slightly apart and you're going to roll the fleshy parts of these calves out either side. If you've got a thick book at home and that bottom doesn't quite go down below those heels, then you're going to pop your a thick book or a block underneath that bottom. If it does, you're going to relax that bottom down towards the mat. Good, then from here, we're going to sweep these hands around the back of the body, interlock through these fingers, and you're going to stretch those hands behind you and lift those arms up behind you. Good, so this way, from here you're really opening up through the front of the chest and the front of these shoulders. Good. Then from here we're going to release those hands after a few breaths, so you're still breathing deeply and slowly. So we're going to release these hands back down, relax those shoulders and press these shins down into the mat as you lift back up onto those knees. Good, then from here you're going to open up through those fingers and then push back into those legs again. So you're lifting that chest towards these thighs as you lengthen through the back of these legs. Good, then from here you're going to lower down onto those knees. And then from here we're going to bring that right leg forwards. And then we're going to sink forwards into our low lunge stretch to open up the front of this back leg. So these hips are facing forwards and you're sinking into that right leg. Good, but you're really trying to relax the front of this back left leg and open up through the front of that thigh and that hip flexor region. Good. Then from here again, we're going to open up through these fingers and you're going to press these palms down into the mat. Good. From here, you're going to bring that right leg back. And this time, we're going to bring these shins together and we're going to flick our toes up underneath you. Good. So both feet, you've got all of those toes making contact with the mat. Sometimes these little toes tend to pop out to the side, so just keep them tucked under. Ideally, you're going to try and keep these ankles together as you sit back. This is a nice stretch for the bottom of those feet. Sometimes if these quads are a little bit tight, you might find that you can't get that bottom down onto those heels. So in those instances, pop a block here or a thick book here, and then you can rest the bottom onto that book or onto that block. Good, again, we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths if you can. Come out anytime you need to. You're going to flick these hands around the back of the body again, interlock those fingers, stretch those arms out behind you and lift those hands up. Try not to lean too far forwards here, so we want to keep that body nice and upright as you stretch those hands out behind you. Good, release those hands. And then from here we're going to relax those feet, keep those feet back out behind you. and either staying in this position, or you're going to open up through those legs and sink yourself again back down towards the mat. Good. Okay, so from here, we're now going to stretch those arms out in front of you, and you're going to soften through these elbows. Then from here, we're going to take this left arm over the right, squeezing that chest as you do so. If the hands stay here, this is fine. You're going to take hold of the opposite shoulders and lift those elbows up and pull those shoulder blades away and open. Good. If your arms are comfortable today, you're then bringing these hands up into what we call our eagle arms. Good. And your elbows are up and the hands are away from the face. Good. For a further stretch at the back of the neck, you can tuck that chin in towards the chest. Then release those hands and relax those shoulders. Good. Then from here, we're going to press down into those shins again. Squeeze the stomach as you come up. Good. And then this time, we're going to take this left leg forwards. Good. So I'm just going to turn so you can see on the other side. Left leg forwards. Hips are facing the short edge of that mat. And then you're sinking forwards into our low lunge. Okay, so you're feeling that stretch through the front of that hip here. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, you can either put a chair in front of you and hold on to that, or you can take these hands down towards the mat. But with the hands down, still lift that chest, because we want to open up this area here as well. Good. So you're still breathing deeply and allowing yourself to really open up the front of that leg. Well done. Then from here, we're going to come back to that centre position. Good. We're going to bring ourselves back into that seated position. So you can either stay here, or you can take those legs open again, depending on how they're feeling. I'm going to stretch those arms out in front of you, soften through those elbows. This time we're taking this right arm, so squeeze the chest as you do, right arm over the left, bring those hands together and stretch those arms away from you. So elbows come up and hands away from the face. And for a further stretch at the back of the neck, tuck that chin into the chest. Good, well done. And release those arms and those shoulders. So where possible, we're holding each of our stretches for about 15 to 30 seconds, or from about 3 to 5 or 6 breaths. Okay, so from here we're going to flip ourselves onto our bottom and stretch those legs out in front of you. Pull the fleshy parts of the bottom out from underneath of you, and you're going to lift up nice and tall. Then lengthen those arms up towards the ceiling, and you're leading through the chest. If that feels uncomfortable and too much of the arms here, then take those arms out in front of you. But you want to keep this chest up as you come into this forward bend. Yeah, so if you've got a towel or a strap, you can put that around your feet and hold on to that to help you to relax those arms or shoulders. Alternatively, hands relax onto the shins, the ankles, or onto those feet. And you're lengthening that chest forwards as you sink down over those legs. Keep breathing here, and you're taking yourself into a position where you can feel quite a strong stretch, but you're not holding your breath. As soon as you hold your breath, that stretch is too intense. Good. Okay, then from here, you're going to hinge yourself back up into this centre position. Okay, so from here, we're now going to take our legs wide for our wide-angled forward bend. So take these legs out either side of you, and you want to be into a position where you can start to feel the stretch. Good. Okay, and again, pull the bottom out from underneath you. Lift up through that chest. And either walk these hands out in front of you to a point where it feels enough, but keeping that chest up, or take those hands onto the shins, onto the ankles or the feet as you fold forwards. So again, with the stretch, you just come to a point where you can feel that strong stretch, but not too much that you're holding your breath. Good, so again, holding this for about 15 to 30 seconds, or longer if you've got more time. And then hinge yourself back up into that centre position. Okay, then from here, I'm going to lengthen that left leg out in front of you, and you're going to soften this right leg from here. Okay, we're going to come into what we call our seated pigeon. So we're going to lift that leg up, and you're going to take hold of your foot, and you're going to take that knee out to the side. Okay, now it might be enough to hold this hand onto the foot here, and hold the other hand onto that knee. Keep the chest lifted and gently start bringing this shin in towards the chest. Good. Alternatively, if you're comfortable today, you can then take the foot either to the forearm or to the elbow and lift up. Good. But keeping this chest nice and tall, and you should be feeling this stretch on the outer edge of this right hip. Again, keep breathing here nice and deeply. And then from here, you're going to lengthen that leg out in front of you and relax. Then lift that left leg up, and we're going to do the same on that left leg. Okay, I'm just going to show you an adaptation if that was a little bit too much quickly. So from here is where we can do a variation of that on the chair. Okay, so on the chair, you're going to bring yourself down. You're going to lift your leg up and then place that foot on top of that thigh. Lift up through the head and the chest, and then this time you're leading through that chest and lowering down. But again, keeping this back nice and straight. So you want to make sure that you're doing both of those legs, so either in this chair variation or seated on the mat. And once you've done both sides here, we are then going to bring those legs up. And we're going to take ourselves into our Baddha Konasana or our frog's legs pose. Okay, so from here you're relaxing those knees down. It doesn't matter how far those legs go down. They might be here, they might be all the way down to the mat, or halfway between. But you're gently supporting these legs, and as long as you feel a stretch on those adductors, then that's the stretch achieved. So we're holding it, so to that point, so you're supporting those legs, holding those legs down for about, or relaxing those legs down, I should say, for about 15 seconds. Okay, or about 5 to 6 breaths. And you can either stay upright or fold forwards. And once you've done all those stretches, you can either rewind the video and repeat again, or relax. Thank you.